forms, et cetera. That would be a good business model. Jack Flanagan recommended that, and it would seem like a good idea, right? I mean, we're leaving money there for no reason that I can see except the failure of the community colleges to take responsibility for pursuing this money.
Well, I wouldn't blame the community colleges. I'd actually blame the legislature because essentially they can't charge tuition. They can't garner tuition revenues. There is absolutely no reason why the community colleges today would increase their tuition. They'd just be putting a penalty on their individual institutional students, and that money would be going back to the state. Now, they'd get a little bit of it back, but that's a little bit of it.
Yeah, go ahead, Lauren.
Just quickly, is the tuition tax credit refundable to taxpayers who don't have tax liability?
Yes.
I have a final question. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure I heard you, I think. I just wasn't clear. I wanted to, so if a person does not have any tax liability for whatever reason, they can still get them check from the government?
Yes, up to a certain point. And that actually makes what I said before incorrect. Actually, that student who was from the very poorest family would get the full benefit, all but $40, I think is what I figured out once before. They would get. I'd forgotten about that provision. So they don't come out behind. Nobody comes out behind more than $45 or something like that. So that's partly, I don't believe in refundable tax credits personally, so I sort of blocked that one out of my mind. But this one happens to be refundable now.
The shared finance model that you mentioned earlier, if I understand it, has some pretty good opportunities to enhance revenues if followed for the community college system through the enhancement of tuition. The tuition at the UC system and the CSU system, you indicated, is kind of within the range of what you might expect for comparable institutions around the country. So does that model hold out much opportunity to drive more revenues for either one of those two systems?
No. I'm not sure they need to drive substantially more revenues. King's probably back there ready to kick me in the groin or something. But I think they can operate with the marginal revenues and with the level of resources that Prop 30 will help provide. It restores funding in a way that will bring them to a reasonable level in a tight environment, and I think we're going to live in a tight environment in the future. So I don't know that they have to generate substantially more revenue. We don't need, and I think King would agree with me on that, we don't need the hierarchy we were on in the 1990s, where every year per student we became less efficient because we had more funding total. And we thought that we were proud of that as an industry. Every year we had more funding per student. And wasn't that great? I mean, I'd give you another industry where higher cost for production was a great thing every year after year. It just didn't make sense. But we were proud that we were financing higher education more richly than we had ever done before. That was a ridiculous concept, and it ended in 2000, 2001, and we'll never get back to that, and we probably should. We want to make sure the institutions have enough revenue to operate well. I think that I'm less concerned about the revenue levels for the CSU and the University of California, given their tuition. It would provide them some capacity if they wanted to go beyond that, and they were willing to protect students, that they could move farther up that